cancer. Thornton passed away peacefully with family by his side. He was 53 years old. Thornton was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer a few weeks ago. Thornton spent more than 27 years in the Norman County Sheriff's Office, the last 12 as sheriff. His family is thanking the Norman County community for the years of support and are asking for thoughts and prayers at this time. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum appointed 7 leaders from the state, including new Lieutenant Governor Tammy Miller, to the newly formed Opioid Settlement Advisory Committee. The group will receive and distribute funds received under these settlement agreements and recommend how they should be used by local governments. As a result of those agreements, North Dakota may be receiving up to $62 million over the next 4 to 18 years. And harsh weather continues to put a strain on North Dakota's wildlife population. North Dakota Game and Fish Department says there's been a significant loss in local wildlife because of cold weather conditions. Native animals are built to withstand winter weather, but the cold and snow have come early and all at once, leaving wildlife out in the cold. Officials are urging hikers and wildlife enthusiasts to view animals from a distance and allow them to go about their business in the winter. This is Ty Schoenert with The Flag and AM1100theflag.com. First of the news when you need to know.
The North Dakota Mega Millions jackpot is now at $940 million. What would you do with almost $1 billion? Get your tickets now for tonight's drawing, the North Dakota Lottery. Imagine the possibilities.
Your school can earn up to $10,000 this year. Just save the UPCs from the Country Hearth products your family already enjoys. Learn more at loavesforlearning.com. That's loavesforlearning.com.
They're getting closer. I'm Tom Graham, Fox News. Well, Republican leader Kevin McCarthy had something to cheer about today. Some conservative members of his party dropped their opposition to his bid to be the next speaker. Fox's Jared Halpern on Capitol Hill.
House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy moved within just a few votes of winning the speakership after flipping 15 holdouts in voting today after a night of intense negotiations in an emerging framework agreement
that we think will change this institution in meaningful ways.
Texas Republican Chip Roy is one of those pickups for McCarthy. The framework is believed to include guarantees on committee assignments, spending caps, and rules changes.
Now, some members are confident that he will get the nod when they reconvene tonight at 10 p.m. Representative Michael Waltz asking Republicans who oppose McCarthy to ease up.
And we need some of these folks to at least vote present if this is a personal issue with Kevin McCarthy.
So far, there have been 13 votes. The disbanded House January 6 committee recently released hundreds of documents, but inadvertently made public nearly 2,000 Social Security numbers belonging to high-profile individuals who visited the White House in December of 2020. That, according to the Washington Post, the move could leave those individuals open to identity theft. Meantime, many lawmakers gathered to mark the 2-year anniversary of that Capitol riot.
We will never forget this day.
Democrat leader Hakeem Jeffries on the Capitol steps. Now, investors ending the week on a positive note. Big gains on Wall Street.
Stocks were in rally mode, finishing higher for the day and week as rate hike worries eased after monthly Labor Department data showed the pace of job creation cooled in December while wage gains slowed. The Dow rising 701 points, the Nasdaq up 264, S&P 500 up 87.
Fox's Hillary Barsky. America is listening to Fox News.
President Trump has announced, and Ron DeSantis is rising fast. Who do you support for 2024? Newsmax wants to know what you think. Vote in the Newsmax poll. Just text the word RESPOND to 39747. That's RESPOND to 39747. It takes just seconds. Text RESPOND to 39747. Let your voice be heard and watch Newsmax today. Texting enrolls for automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
It's Jesse Kelly. Why do you think so many countries have huge gold reserves? Gold lasts. The value of gold lasts. How many times have I told you, buy things you can touch and feel because you know the value lasts? There's nothing like precious metals, nothing out there like it. I buy all my gold from Oxford Gold Group. 833-974-1300. They'll deliver it to your front door. Oxford Gold Group.
Mostly clear for this evening, but clouds will be increasing, leading to mostly cloudy skies tonight. There will be a slight chance for a few isolated snow flurries with a low of 0 and wind switching to the southwest around 5 miles per hour with areas of dense fog developing, which will continue into Saturday morning. That fog lifts to Saturday afternoon, revealing a mainly sunny to partly cloudy day, high of 16 with a southwest wind 10 to 20, and more fog overnight into Sunday morning. From the Skywatch Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Justin Storm.
Today's weather is brought to you by Summit Carbon Solutions. The ethanol industry is critical for the North Dakota economy and our farmers. Summit Carbon Solutions is opening new economic opportunities for ethanol producers and helping maintain a strong market for corn growers while generating millions of dollars in new property taxes to help local communities support our schools and hospitals. Visit SummitCarbonSolutions.com to learn how this project is driving the future of agriculture in North Dakota.
Live from the PetroServe USA studio, it's the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free.
Happy Feel Good Friday here on the Chris Berg Show. Thanks so much. Yes, thank you. You read my mind.
Let's go, Berg.
I was going to say, just turn it up. There is a big game coming up on Sunday. Wagers being made. So President Steve Hallstrom is running the board today. Obviously, many of you may not know this, but he has got mad hops, great athlete, great track star. And Steve, can you imagine coming out of the stadium, coming out of that helmet to this in front of the Fargo Dome, 18,000 people screaming?
You know, in my Division III track and field days, Chris, when we went to conference and nationals, they did not have such a thing. If they would have, we'd have come out doing our Ray Lewis strut or whatever, and there would be 3 people going like, okay, whatever, dude, like, just get on with it. So I can't. Probably the biggest like adrenaline rush I ever had was high school basketball section championship to go to state junior year, and we lost. But that was as crazy as I ever remember it. I was almost sick. I was so pumped up for the game. I was just, by the time it got to the game, I was like just kind of spent already because I was so excited. But then the crowd is there. We were at St. Cloud State University, and you get to come out on the floor in front of 3,000 people or whatever. And that was the biggest thrill I had sports wise. Now, you played football in the Pac-12, so you're laughing at me right now, but I can't imagine what that's like to come out on the field in Frisco.
Well, Frisco, the Fargo Dome, it's just going to be such an epic game, and it's South Dakota State. So as we all know, big game on Sunday. There's actually 2 other big things happening on Sunday. And let's just kind of lay the groundwork for this game because we're going to be talking to Big Game James here in a moment. But you think about the rivalry of South Dakota State and NDSU right now. It's an epic rivalry. South Dakota State seems to sort of have NDSU's number as of late, especially within the regular season. And anybody who knows Senator John Hoeven, you can talk to him for a minute, 5 minutes, an hour. He is such an avid fan of the NDSU Bison. Every time I get a chance to visit with him, I mean, it always wraps up with, hey, man, what do you think they're going to do this week? Like, who's going to be playing? What's going to be? He is a huge Bison fan. So is there anything bigger in Senator John Hoeven's world than an NDSU, SDSU championship football game in Frisco? What could that be?
Watching the circus going on in the house right now, maybe.
I lay all this out because I share this with you to give you kind of an idea of the fabric of Senator John Hoeven from the standpoint that I just want to reiterate NDSU, SDSU, huge rivalry, Frisco, national. I mean, this guy wouldn't miss that for anything. Oh, wait, maybe there is one thing he would miss it for. Senator John Hoeven is staying home on Sunday to say thank you and welcome back the North Dakota National Guard people that have been down at the southern border. But 125 National Guard coming back, flying into Bismarck at 1 p.m., and Senator John Hoeven is foregoing the opportunity to go down to the game to say thank you to the men and women that are protecting our freedoms. I bumped into one of Senator Hoeven's chief of staff on the staff, and we started chatting. I'm like, oh, Senator Hoeven's got to be just pumped. Like, I know he's going down to Frisco. What do you? She's like, no. I said, what? He's not going to the game. She's like, no. There's North Dakota National Guard coming home on Sunday. I almost fainted. And again, I just want to share that with you, to share with you, Senator John Hoeven gets it, to say, hey, we're going to stay home for the North Dakota National Guard and say thank you for protecting our freedom. So that's another giant event that's happening on Sunday. There's a third giant event happening on Sunday. We're going to be talking about this for a large part of next week, because last time Steve was with us, we talked about the importance of what's going on right now with Mexico, Canada, and the United States. And so President Joe Biden is going to be down to El Paso. I don't know if he's going to quite make it down to the border, but the other big thing happened on Sunday is President Joe Biden will be in El Paso on Sunday, just to talk about the horrific things going on in El Paso. Now, I say all this because then on Monday, he actually flies into Mexico City. And if you remember last time Steve and I were doing the show, we talked about just keep your eye on what's happening with Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Because coming up on Monday and Tuesday, and probably a large part of Wednesday, Biden's going to leave by then, but a large part of Wednesday, you're going to have little Justin Trudeau, AMLO, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, the president of Mexico, and also President Joe Biden meeting in Mexico City. I think that is going to be a fascinating conversation. There's going to be a lot of private conversations that I would love for you and I to get transcripts on. Never going to happen. And to know what they're really going to be discussing, if you understand where AMLO stands as far as thinking, hey, look, I just think all the Americas should just be one big America. I'm going to read from you a little bit from the presser that actually the Mexican government put out about this meeting. And if you know little Justin Trudeau, I mean, he's bought and paid for by the World Economic Forum. So we obviously know where he stands on more of a globalist perspective. But just going to read this for you. You can obviously deduce what you want from it. But so basically one of the secretaries down in Mexico said, hey, look, last year the secretary stressed that President Lopez Obrador said that for both the bilateral meetings and the summit that's going to be taking place in Mexico City, the emphasis will be on a new era in the region. A new era in the region that could potentially be extended to the rest of the Americas on the basis of reciprocity, mutual respect, and a common vision regarding the prosperity and well-being of North America and the Americas, reducing poverty and advancing inclusion, respecting young people, women, and those who are disadvantaged. But the key things to take away from this is a new era for the Americas. And I said it, last time again, Steve was with us, but I mentioned just keep your eye on 2026. And Steve, if you want to poke holes in this, I think I said last time, please do. But the fact that you've got a country of Qatar handling the entire World Cup this year, it's about the size of Connecticut, maybe Vermont. It's like 2.5, 3 million people. They took on the entire essence, the entire program of the World Cup in this tiny little country, and they handled it just fine. Just fine. But what's happening in 2026 is you're going to have the World Cup take place in Canada, the United States, and Mexico. All three countries are going to be hosting in different stadiums, different cities, aspects of the World Cup. Has it ever happened in the history of the World Cup? I'm not a World Cup genius, but I think you got to ask yourself why. Why are we going to have three different nations handling the World Cup in 2026? I don't know. I'm not in on these meetings. But my point to you is I would watch for a unification of North America. Watch the positioning, the conversations that are going to begin, that will start, I don't know, maybe after Biden announces his run for presidency. May not be until early 2025 after the election. just pay attention because that will be a very interesting conversation. And this is why I believe, because you and I both know, we've said before, remember what President Trump did to shut down the border at Mexico? He basically said to AMLO, look, either you stop the flow at the Guatemalan-Mexican border, or I'm not going to do business with you. It's your choice. Soon as Trump talked about tariffs, National Guard was created in Mexico. They shut down the border in Guatemala. That flow dropped dramatically. That clearly has not happened with President Biden. And I think a big piece of that is because the unification has already started. We just don't know it yet. But the conversations will become much more heated as we get closer and closer to the World Cup in 2026. Can you poke any holes in that, Steve?
Well, I mean, it's a theory that you're throwing out there, and I get where you're coming from, and it is curious that, why can we not handle this all in the United States, or why can Canada not handle it along? We obviously can. So I don't know if there's anything sinister behind just that, but if we happen to know that, hey, Biden, for whatever reason, would like Mexico to be a part of the country, then you'd have to say why. Now, with Canada, you can take a look and you say, okay, Canada, developed country. They seem to, other than their wacko politically, they seem to have a lot of things going. The Canadian people are good, solid, hardworking folks, very spiritual people as a whole. Many people don't know that. I worked for the Billy Graham Association for a couple of years out of college, and very passionate believers in Canada. And so I think there's a lot to be said for, obviously, the last few years of politically, they've gone goofy. But there's a lot of good things in Canada. Mexico has some good things as well. I just don't know that you're accruing a whole lot there. So I just, if you think you know something, Chris, and you feel like you've heard enough to know, or sources tell you or whatever, then I say, yeah, let's keep it on our radar. Right now, if someone just told me, hey, U.S., Canada, and Mexico are going to team up on the World Cup, I'd say, okay, fine,
Exactly.
whatever.
Exactly. You're like, whatever. That sounds fun. Like, hey, maybe I'll go to Mexico City for a game, then I'll go to Miami, and then I'll go up to Toronto. It's exactly, and I think it's a great play. I mean, it's the World Cup. Does it become any more of a globalist?
Copa Mundial.
Gracias. Muchas gracias.
Yeah.
Muy bien.
In Nicaragua. No, I just like to say in Nicaragua. Anyway. They have nothing to do with it. But.
And the Cubanos, and but I mean, I think it's a perfect stage. And my point is, there is a lot of conversation about North America having its own currency. So we'll see. Steve's right. I mean, I can't sit here and say, oh, my God. I mean, I could show you there's a lot of data that shows that there's going to be a North American currency in the UN and this and that, but that has not come to fruition yet. We'll see how that fight goes. But you think about what Canada did recently, shutting down the truckers' bank accounts, saying, hey, you can't use this credit card. I think that was just sort of a trial run to show you that, oh, yeah, we can do this. Okay. One last story I want to touch on quickly. We've got Big Game James coming up next, talking about what's happening down in Frisco. But I think this is a fascinating story. We may touch on it later, maybe next week. But we all know, we've talked about this before. Anytime you get anybody to go to like 3 people go to a library meeting, like that's a big deal. There's obviously something going on if 3 people show up at a library meeting. So yesterday afternoon in Valley City, they finally had a big meeting in regards to that book. Let's talk about it. Where there's a lot of just nudity. Many people would say inappropriate items within this book that's in the library for kids. There was about 150 to 200 people crammed in the Valley City State University Student Center to talk about this book being at a library. 150 to 200 people showed up in Valley City to talk about this book being in a library. You can talk, that's a very, very heated discussion. I did see recently, as we kick off this North Dakota legislative session, there is a bill that's going to hopefully be able to say, no, we're not going to allow these books that sexualize kids within the library, or at least within certain sections of the library. I've not read, obviously, the bill, but I'm not one of those guys that wants to ban books or really ban anything, but let's just do it appropriately. It's pretty darn simple. All right, when we come back, Steve did a great job kicking off the show with a little thunderstruck AC/DC. Reason why is because of the big game that's happening on Sunday. We've got boots on the ground in Frisco to give you the latest on the lay of the land. Who's playing, who's not, and much, much more coming up right after this right here on The Chris Berg Show.
Hi, Jeff from a Cutting Edge Gallery of Jewelry, and I'm here to talk about lab diamonds, guys. No matter what it is, an engagement ring, a pair of earrings, a diamond pendant. You come to a Cutting Edge where we guarantee you the biggest, whitest, brightest diamond no matter what your budget. And now you're going to save money on the mounting besides. You get to pick between 2,600 mountings to find the perfect ring for her, and we're going to match it up with the perfect diamond that fits your budget. A Cutting Edge Gallery of Jewelry.
Look for the Gate City Bank Frisco Fan Cam video on the Flag and WDAY website. We bring you all the fun and excitement of fans in Frisco this week.
Our Frisco Fan Cam has interviews and excitement for 3 days of fun in Frisco. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, go to AM1100theflag.com or WDAYradionow.com each day and get a taste of the experience in Frisco.
It's the Gate City Bank Frisco Fan Cam. Find it at AM1100theflag.com, WDAYradionow.com, or on our Facebook page.
Ever see a piece of land and say, I wonder if that's for sale? There's someone who knows. Jose Investments. Land development is what they do in the tri-state area, working with buyers and sellers and all the entities needed to get the deal done. Land acquisition is big in the region, and Jose Investments is securing wanted land for many companies and selling land for many owners, putting together the right deal for everyone. And they can offer land options you may not even be aware of. Call Scott Jose today. Jose Investments.
Buy, sell, trade, or look at the West Fargo Gun Show January 7th and 8th at the Red River Valley Fairgrounds. Hundreds of shotguns, rifles, handguns, knives, furs, holsters, scopes, and ammunition. Everything for hunters and shooters. Have a gun for sale? Bring it. Buyers will be there. Buy, sell, or trade at the West Fargo Gun Show January 7th and 8th at the Red River Valley Fairgrounds. That's the West Fargo Gun Show January 7th and 8th.
If you're looking for honest, dependable, over-the-top customer service at affordable prices, you'll want to do business with Welton's Tire Service in Lisbon, North Dakota. Welton's is a name you've grown to trust, proudly serving the area for over 50 years. Welton's Tire always works hard for customer satisfaction and service. They offer brands for every make. If you need tires, repair, maintenance, or on-the-farm tire service, contact Welton's Tire on Main Street in Lisbon. Tell them Beth sent you. Online at weltonstire.net.
These days, we all want our money to go just a little bit further. We also want to support local businesses. When you visit the Big Deals online store, you can do both. Shop anytime. The store is always open and loaded with great deals. Buy discounted gift certificates to local businesses and spend them just like cash. Visit online or download the Big Deals app to shop right from your phone. Shop local, buy local with Big Deals.
This is for the busted hearts. This is for the question marks. This is for the outcast soul, lost control. No one knows.
Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show. This is your daily dose of truth to help set you free. We're coming to you live from the PetroServe USA studio. So if you are heading down to Frisco later on today, maybe tomorrow, driving down, do yourself a favor. Stop into your local PetroServe USA, helping you and America fuel better. You can stop in there, fill up the tank, but also one of the best things is also fill up the tummy. You can go in, they've got the cookies, the pizza, the burgers, all kinds of great stuff. Many of them got what's now called the Cafe USA as well. So that's PetroServe USA. Now we've got some boots on the ground in Frisco to give us the latest on the lay of the land for the big game coming up on Sunday versus the NDSU Bison and the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. Big game. James is joining us. James, how's the trip? What's the vibe down there?
Everybody's enjoying themselves just a little bit more, I think.
We're having a challenge hearing you. What was that, my friend?
Yep. Just walking to the stadium, right? It's been a heck of a day. It's been covering the teams, the players, the coaches. It's been a long one, but it's been a whole lot of fun. And of course, with it being 68 degrees and sunny, we can't complain at all.
Wow, you just had to drop that in there, the 68 and sunny. So, James, it's been a great segment. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, isn't that? Yeah, cut them off, guys. We're done.
So you said you got a chance to talk to players and coaches. So with a lot of the press conferences today, and if so, what did you take away from them?
So today was exclusively, for the most part, just press conferences with coaches and players of both teams. So you had a chance with about 15, 20 minutes with each coach, and then we had about 20 minutes in total with players from both teams individually. And the big thing takeaway with the coaches are they're not shying away from it. They both understand a national championship's at stake, and you're going to square off against your arch rival in order to get to the promised land, which is that national championship. The difference is for the Bison, they're looking for number 10 to add to the trophy case. As for the Jackrabbits, they're looking for that elusive first title. That's the biggest difference in this. But Coach Stegelmeyer was great with talking about how they talked with the different coaches throughout the week and meetings that they had with players in kind of more psychological type things. They know they can compete with the Bison physically. They know that they can compete with the Bison and win in Fargo. Now it's a matter of getting kind of the whole landscape of psychologically remembering that you can play that same game at a neutral site in Frisco and be able to win that game. And so that was a really big vocal point for South Dakota State today.
So walk us inside of that conversation. Did he give you any tips as to what he was communicating with the guys and how he was setting them up to say, look, this is just another game. It's just 100 yards. It's the exact same thing. Doesn't matter where we play.
Well, essentially kind of what he tried to use, and I thought it was a great kind of use of how he described it was, in the early 2000s, North Dakota State decided that they're going to move up to the Division I level. They asked South Dakota State to do it with them. And so they kind of came up through the birth the Dakota Marker. They went to Division I. North Dakota State at that point was really dominating the rivalry. And South Dakota State over the past, 15 years or so has been able to take little bits and pieces of what the Bison have done in the regular season and make it a successful regular season for them, and even get victories not only against the Bison, but against the Bison, the Fargo Dome. And now it's just implementing those same things that they've been able to do throughout those matchups and finally crack through maybe that glass ceiling that they have to get that elusive national championship.
If you're just joining us, Big Game James is with us. He's actually boots on the ground in Frisco right now as we get ready for the big game on Sunday. I want to remind you, it's Sunday. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. down in Frisco. James, I'm hoping that you had a chance to hear from, ask some questions to Cam Miller, because in my opinion, the game is really on his shoulders. If he performs well, I think the Bison win. They at least have a very good shot to win. If he's got a couple turnovers, he's not completing balls, I just think it's going to be a long day for NDSU.
Yeah, and when it came to Cam Miller, didn't have an opportunity to talk to him today. It was kind of interesting as to how they had the liaison who was not available and who we were able to get our hands on. But we were able to talk with a couple of guys defensively, Michael Tutsi, who was a six-year guy and has done so many great things in the program, and James Kaiser, a guy who, he did get injured in that national semifinal matchup against what was Incarnate Word.
James, can I interrupt you for a second? Sorry. So you're telling me that Cam Miller was not part of the press day?
Not that we had an opportunity to go grab him. We had 20 minutes in total with each player.
But I mean, was he out and about being part of the press day, or was he being hid behind doors?
I didn't see him out there for
wow.
anything. It was a lot of the other players there was 8 players in total for both teams available.
So you obviously saw all 8 players that were available for the Bison, yes?
Yeah, well, we got to half of them is what we did. We only was that limited time. So we had quick comments with them in passing as they came and they had gone, but we had full conversations with a handful of them, and one of which was Joe Stuffle, who, of course, a tight end who's battled injury all season long. And, man, he's jacked up for this game. And he's playing with a heavy heart because he, of course, is going to get some extra snaps due to the fact that his counterpart in Noah Gindorf had that season-ending injury and ended his collegiate career, essentially. So he's playing with a heavy heart, playing for more than just himself here this evening, or I guess Sunday afternoon.
Big Game James with us. He's boots on the ground in Frisco. Steve, you're a sports guy. I just want, if you don't mind jumping in here, to me, that's the breaking news story. The fact that Cam Miller is not part of the players of the press day.
Interesting.
The quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, again, is it sinister? I don't know. It's curious for sure. I mean, he's going to play. We haven't heard anything to that effect. It's just an odd choice that he wouldn't be made available, but sometimes they'll do that when they think, okay, he went 1 for 11 last week when he's throwing the football. So maybe we just don't want him to have to answer that question 55 times.
I think you're spot
And
on.
that-
Go ahead, James.
That very well could have played a part in it because you had guys like Joe Stuffle available as a tight end. Kobe Johnson, who's the lead tailback right now for the Bison, he was available. And trying to remember who on the offensive line was available for press conferences. But they did get a good mix of different guys all the way across the board. Javier Darrett on the defensive line was also available. And they just really were along the lines of they're excited and thankful to be a part of another trip down to Frisco. And they want to right their wrong with what happened in Fargo, about 2 months ago here now.
Yeah.
It is kind of Bush, though, if they're not making the quarterback available. I mean, that's the guy everybody wants to hear from.
James, just from my experience, when you suggest, so I guess I should ask to be fair, was the QB from South Dakota State out there?
They did have Mark Gronowski. He was out there, but he's been chopping. He's chomping at the bit, man. He is not shying away from anything. He loves it. He's happy to be back out there though, because he tore his ACL, as we know, the last time they were in Frisco, and he missed the entire 2021 fall season as well, where they went to the national semifinals and lost to Montana State. So he's playing with a different bit of, I think, realizing that football can be taken away at any given day, and so you gotta live it up to the fullest. So I don't know if that had to do with the ADs, if that had to do with his request or what, but yeah, he's excited to be out there and playing football. I'm sure that they all are, honestly.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a national title game. Of course, they're amped. Plus, it's like you said, 68 degrees and sunny, so it's perfect football weather. So, I just want to say this. I don't want to make it more of what it may or may not be. I've been in those back rooms. I've been around a lot of football, a lot of big games, and the fact that your quarterback's not out there doing the presser says a lot more that I'm not going to say explicitly. You can read into what you want or nothing. I just know that's a big statement, and I think we'll leave it at that.
I think we should just know why, right? I mean, it's curious. Did anybody ask James why they didn't have Miller out there?
Not there was not much of any murmurs that I had heard from it, because you had coach, and then you had the players about 5 minutes later, kind of going for that, and then we had that break. And then it was North Dakota State with Matt Entz, and then players about 5 minutes after that as well.
He might be a little under the weather. You don't know. I mean, there's nothing to say, wrong was done here, but it'd just be curious to know why.
Yeah, I'm not even saying it's wrong. I just think, Steve, you nailed it from the fact that look, if you're a South Dakota State reporter or a person from South Dakota, or even if you're a good reporter in North Dakota, that's going to be the question 55 times is, hey, can you do more than 1 for 12? Can you do more than, and as a QB, that starts getting in your head. I think the coach has probably made a decent choice. And hey, look, we didn't want to subject you to that, but I just also speaks to the fragility possibly of what's going on there, which we'll see how things roll out on Sunday. It may help him just get uber focused, and he overperforms, and good for him. So, James, we appreciate the time, man. And we're going to cut this off now because it's 68 and sunny. You got to get a tan, my friend.
Yeah, definitely. No, thank you. Much appreciated. And real quick, we have some friends that help make our trip possible. Welton's Tire Service, Traditions Restaurant and Bar, Proceed, Cole Papers, ND Estate Services, Gate City Bank with the Frisco fan cam that will be out here in the next couple of hours, North Dakota Sweet Crude, Prairie Supply, and Hefty Seed. Thank you for helping make our trip possible.
Yes, thank you very much to all of them. And stick around. We got much more coming up here on a Feel Good Friday.
The fog will lift, leaving us with partly cloudy skies for this afternoon. We'll have highs in the lower teens with a light wind out of the north around 5 to 10. Mostly cloudy skies roll back in tonight with fog developing. We'll drop down to a low near 1 below with light winds out of the south-southeast. And the winds will pick up a little bit out of the south over the weekend. That will help warm us up a bit into the mid-teens on Saturday and into the low 20s as we head into Sunday. From the Flag Skywatch Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Sunday at 5 a.m. At Creative Planning, our wealth managers work with in-house CPAs and attorneys to ensure your money is working as hard as it can for you. Give your wealth a second look at creativeplanning.com.
You have money in the stock market. You check most often. Why wouldn't you do the same for your biggest asset, your home? If you want to know right now what you could sell your home for in this hot market, go to FargoHomeValues.com. Type in any address and find out instantly. You might be surprised how much you could get for your home. Again, that website is FargoHomeValues.com, or call me, John Nosal, for a personal valuation. Find out more at jkpropertypartners.com.
Can I return this lottery ticket? I want one of the winners. Some things in life you just can't take back. But when you shop at Valley Imports Pre-Owned, it's a little different. Valley Imports Pre-Owned has a 3-month limited warranty, 7-day return, and 30-day exchange policy. That means you can't buy the wrong car at Valley Imports Pre-Owned. See the full inventory now at valleyimports.com. Drive it, love it, or return it. Valley Imports Pre-Owned.
You've heard me talk about my pillow and the good night's sleep that I get. Well, guess what? Mike Lindell continues to roll out offers on his products. His latest on the towel set. Towels aren't something you think about often. I tell you, I never knew what I was missing until I tried the towels last year. Mike Lindell has done it again. Now changing the game with his 6-piece towel set. This set is made with USA cotton, making it extremely absorbent, yet still providing that soft feel you look for in a towel. The set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths, typically retailing for $89.98. For a limited time, get this set for the low price of $39.98 with the promo code SCOTT. Remember, all MyPillow products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Just go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener specials. Get this insanely low price of $39.98 on the 6-piece towel set. You'll find deep discounts on other MyPillow products, too. Enter promo code SCOTT or call 800-506-9028 for these great specials.
The North Dakota State College of Science Apprenticeship Program is having an open house. This event allows you to meet and greet with leaders and program specialists to learn more about how apprenticeships can help you develop and grow a highly skilled workforce. There are opportunities in numerous fields, and North Dakota State College of Science works with you to create your customized training solution. Attend the open house Thursday, January 12th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. at 1305 19th Avenue North in Fargo. The North Dakota State College of Science Apprenticeship Open House. Thursday, January 12th, 4:30 to 6 p.m.
The North Dakota Mega Millions jackpot is now at $940 million. What would you do with almost $1 billion? Get your tickets now for tonight's drawing, the North Dakota Lottery. Imagine the possibilities.
Your school can earn up to $10,000 this year. Just save the UPCs from the Country Hearth products your family already enjoys. Learn more at loavesforlearning.com. That's loavesforlearning.com.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Sunday at 5 a.m. At Creative Planning, we provide custom-tailored solutions for all of your money management needs. Why not give your wealth a second look? Visit creativeplanning.com. That's creativeplanning.com.
In a world full of hate, be a light. When you do somebody wrong, make it right. Don't hide in the dark, you were born to shine. In a world full of hate, be a light.
Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show. This is your daily dose of truth to help set you free. As always, here on our Friday, we call it a Feel Good Friday, thanks to Dakota Medical Foundation and Giving Hearts Day. We got a special guest in studio, and she and I were just chatting like, we're less than 5 weeks away from Giving Hearts Day. We all know Giving Hearts Day. It's an amazing day for our community where all of us show just an incredible amount of giving towards all these great organizations within our community. They're going out and making a tremendous difference in people's lives. And that's the purpose of a Feel Good Friday. There's so much other stuff happening throughout the week. We think, hey, let's just take a break and let's focus on people that are going out and really pouring their heart, their lives, and their souls into making a tremendous impact and improving the lives of others, because we don't hear enough about that, in my opinion, in today's media. So one organization that's been doing that now for quite some time, and they do a really, really tremendous job, is called TNT Kids Fitness. And joining us now is Paige Anderson. She's the special events manager, and it's great to have you here on a Feel Good Friday. Giving Hearts Day, just a short ways away, but let's just talk about TNT Fitness. So tell us a bit about your guys' mission. And one of the basics that we like to ask people is, what's the problem that you think your organization solves within our community?
Yes, no, thank you so much for having me on, Chris. For us, at TNT Kids Fitness, we are an organization that works on inclusive programming for all abilities for everyone from birth to aging. So we do that with our mission of unlocking potential through movement. So we have a wide array of programs for individuals for all abilities from birth to aging, from competitive programs to recreational programs and specialized programs and partnerships as well.
Can you describe that a little more? Because I know I've been
Yeah.
out to TNT Fitness in the past, and
Yeah.
it's incredible where you can probably describe this a lot better than I can, but you've got young men and women there that are in wheelchairs,
Mhm.
and so they don't get a chance to get on a trampoline very often, but you've got these coaches along with them, get them on the trampoline, and I've never seen that kind of smile on a person's face as they're in a wheelchair bouncing up and down on a trampoline. It's incredible.
Yeah, no, definitely incredible for sure, and that's what's definitely great about our equipment, and our staff and stuff as well. It doesn't matter where your ability level is at, you will still be able to have that opportunity, just like anybody else, right? So as you talked about, the example of, jumping on a trampoline, if you're in a wheelchair, you'll still be able to do it at TNT, which I think is really, awesome and stuff too. I think, really what we strive on too at TNT is that inclusiveness for all of our programming. Coming, prior to TNT, working in the special needs field, a lot of times, you hear from parents and family members of an individual who has, various levels of different, abilities that, it's where is that inclusive programming? Which is a big struggle. And that's what we really try to, take pride in and stuff too, is because, whether you're in a recreational class or a competitive class, doesn't matter where your ability level is at, right? You're still gonna be included and you're still gonna, be a part of it and stuff too. So that's what's really special about TNT.
I was gonna say that to me again, TNT
Yeah.
Fitness, kids fitness and gymnastics. Where are you guys located at these days?
So we are located off Main Avenue,
That's what I
right
thought.
across from Mango's. So
That's perfect.
yeah, perfect. Yes.
But it seems to me that's just such a giant challenge that you guys are going, or at least attempting to solve. You've got
Mhm.
all different kinds of people, as you mentioned, that may have special needs, don't get a lot of exercise and activity, and just the transformation I would presume that's taking place in these people's lives because now they finally get a chance to experience that.
Mhm.
Any particular stories you have? You're like, oh my gosh, Chris, this person came in and then we started doing this with them and their lives been transformed. And
Yeah, I mean, and that's what's so special about TNT. We always have those inspirational stories happening every day. I know even too, we were just talking about it the other day. We had an individual that started off in a small group, special needs class and, had Down syndrome. And now she's currently in an intermediate level, gymnastics class. So she's been making
wow.
great strides with that. And so that's just one of the many stories. But yeah.
Do you have any others you can share with us? Because I
Yeah,
think that's
for
a great
sure. I
story.
think what's special too, especially at TNT, just with the inclusiveness and stuff again, is that with the various levels, of abilities and stuff that we serve, we will have a lot of kiddos with a lot of high behavioral needs, autism, and what's special about our childcare and after school care, programs too, is that we have that inclusive programming. So I think what's special too is that when you teach kids, from a young age and you just have that inclusive programming, kids aren't going to learn to, bully or discriminate because they're just going to think of them like a peer. And I think that's what's really special too is that, you're going to walk into TNT and you're going to see, with our after school care programs and really all programs really of, you know, everybody getting along and everybody just excited to see their friend which is super special and stuff as well. And, even when talking to parents and talking to their families, a lot of times, when I meet with people, I'll ask like, what's your favorite part about TNT and what would you do if, TNT wasn't here? Like, what, would you do? And a lot of the common answers that I get is people, what they love most about TNT is our coaches. Our coaches and our education leaders, I mean, they're the ones working, with these individuals directly, and they have the passion for what they do. And they're just very kind and genuine. And what's even special about it too is that even with our coaches, they there's a lot of work that goes in right to the back end of things and all the work they put into it to make sure that every individual is reaching their full potential to where they're at. And, a lot of times, even then when meeting with parents too, if they're like, if we didn't have TNT, we don't know what we would do. My child, before they had high behavioral needs and, they didn't have any confidence and, they would before, they would go to a program and they would be sent home multiple times a week. And now, when they come to TNT, that's not happening. They're excited to come. They talk about how everyone is nice here. I mean, it's just really great to see firsthand how much not only the parents, but especially the kiddos who look up to these coaches, because you see the excitement, right, in a child's eyes when they get to see, their favorite coach coming out. And then you see the relief in a parent's eyes and the shoulders kind of going down like, okay, my child's safe. My child's happy, like they're in a good place. And really, there's a program for everyone just because we do serve all abilities.
If you're just joining us, it is a Feel Good
Yes.
Friday. Thank you so much to Dakota Medical Foundation and Giving Hearts Day, which again is coming up on February 9th already, Giving Hearts
Mhm.
Day. So you want to start thinking about how you can make a difference and make an impact for all the great organizations that will be a part of Giving Hearts Day coming up on February 9th. I think you bring up a really interesting point about the parents, because I remember I used to
Mhm.
do some stuff with Make-A-Wish Foundation, and the parents, you could just see like the stress just melt away when they were involved with a Make-A-Wish trip or whatever it might be. And I'm kind of hearing you say the same thing, like when they show up to TNT Fitness, because there's so much stress when you're dealing with a
Yeah.
special needs son
Mhm.
or daughter, and to finally show up maybe for an hour, a couple hours, and say, okay, I trust this coach. I can take a deep breath.
Mhm.
I don't have to think about where they at. Are they okay? Like it's got to be
Mhm.
immeasurable for those parents.
Yeah, and that's what's so great about it too, because a lot of times if a parent's gonna first, come in and they wanna start programming, a lot of times, what the questions that staff will get asked is, all of the what if questions, like, "What if my child has a bad day?" Or, "What if, my child has a behavior?" And it's like, "You know what? Like, that's okay. We all have bad days." And, that's why our coaches are so amazing too, because they will meet them at their level, and because they truly care, they will work with the parents and, their child of what can they do to help them make them succeed.
Let's talk about, you got a big event coming up for Giving Hearts
Yes.
Day. What is that? What's going on? How can people support it?
Yes. So right now for Giving Hearts Day, TNT, we are bringing back our Spin It to Give It event. So super fun event. It will be at Cycle Bar. And what it is a cycling competition. So it's teams of 5, and you're going to have to see who cycles the most miles in the amount of time for the cycling competition. So we're really excited about it. People have been asking, for us to bring it back. We already have a couple of businesses out there that are very determined to win the Cycle Bar trophy. We have a trophy that gets passed around from when we do the event and stuff too every year. So we're very excited to bring it back. And we are raising money this year to get a new bus for the kiddos in our childcare programs, because they are really in need of a new bus right now.
So the bus goes around and like picks up students with special needs and
Yep.
brings them to TNT.
Yeah, so the transportation gets used for a wide variety of programs too. With our childcare programs, we will go and pick them up at their school, bring them back to TNT with our SOAR program after school, and then with other various childcare programs too, and especially with like our No Bummer Summer childcare program in the summer as well. That gets used a lot for field trips and bringing them out in the community to do different fun things.
So if you want to become part of the biking event coming up on Giving
Yes.
Hearts Day, February 9th, how do people reach out to you and get a hold of you?
Yeah, so we have a link right on our website at tntkidsfitness.org. Otherwise, people can call and speak to me directly or email me as well. Always happy to help with that.
And are you looking for teams, individuals?
Yeah, we're definitely looking to for more teams to sign up for the event. We want to get as many teams out there as possible.
Paige, thank you very much for being
Yes.
here. Good luck
Thank
on
you for
Giving
having
Hearts
me.
Day and the event. Again, February 9th, Thursday. Check them out, tntkidsfitness.org and tntkidsfitness.org. Go cycle, raise some money, and get a new bus for the
Yes.
kiddos in town. Stay with us when we come back. A big wager on this weekend's game. We'll tell you with who coming up right after this.
This Frisco Championship Memory Minute is brought to you by Proseed. When you need seed, think Proseed. After the unusual COVID season of 2020, the Bison regained their usual place at the top of the FCS world with a decisive 38-10 win over Montana State in January of 22. It capped off a 14-1 season and gave NDSU its 9th FCS title in the last 11 seasons. Their 4 playoff opponents scored just a combined 34 points, with only 3 seed James Madison losing by fewer than 24. The Rams on the offensive line were again the stars in Frisco, paving the way for 393 rushing yards and 4 TDs. Quarterback Cam Miller, making his 8th career start, was more than ready, pitching an efficient 9 for 13 effort, 126 yards and a touchdown. In the 9 championship seasons, NDSU's overall record, 130 wins, just 7 losses. And that's another Frisco Championship Memory Minute, brought to you by Proceed. When you need seed, think
Truck headquarters. Gateway Chevrolet has new Chevy trucks arriving daily. Buy your new Chevy Silverado at Invoice. Yes, invoice pricing on new Silverados with a fresh look, new interiors, and larger screens with easy-to-use technology. Save thousands on new Chevy Silverados with 4 different motors available. Dynamic fuel management, Bluetooth, backup camera, Apple CarPlay, and more. Save thousands and enjoy the smooth ride in your new Chevy Silverado from Gateway Chevrolet. Find new roads. Details gatewayfargo.com.
Look for the Gate City Bank Frisco Fan Cam video on the Flag and WDAY website. We bring you all the fun and excitement of fans in Frisco this week.
Our Frisco Fan Cam has interviews and excitement for 3 days of fun in Frisco. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, go to AM1100theflag.com or WDAYradionow.com each day and get a taste of the experience in Frisco.
It's the Gate City Bank Frisco Fan Cam. Find it at AM1100theflag.com, WDAYradionow.com, or on our Facebook page.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new place. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clear skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
That's how you change the world. That's how you change the world.
Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free. Some breaking news here. I just got in a text. As we know, Tommy Fisher with Fisher Gravel ended up getting a contract down in Texas for the latest on a 9 miles of border wall in Texas. Yeah, the commission just approved it today, $224 million.
What commission approved it today?
The let's see here in the
Has to be
article
a
I
state
was
thing.
just sent. Yes.
Wow.
So the Texas Facilities Commission meeting on Wednesday, so just a couple days ago, unanimously approved $224 million to build 9 walls along the Webb County boundary border. So
3 cheers.
some interesting news there. What's going on in Texas? I just got that from a very special senator. You may recognize this voice as he's got a little wager going on with the other senator out of South Dakota. So I'm going to play just a little bit of this clip from Senator Kevin Cramer. But I also want to play Senator Mike Round's clip because he mentioned something in his wager that I was like, what? In South Dakota? Like, how can he wager this in South Dakota? So first, quickly, here's Senator Kevin Cramer. I love that. So he's obviously wagering some bison burgers, some bison brats. I don't know if I've ever had those. That sounds delicious. Now, here's Senator Mike Rounds, and I want to play this, not all of the clip, but some of this clip for you. And I think it's towards the end. He put something on the wager that I'm like, what? Okay, that's normal.
It's good marketing right there.
Okay, so I might be just completely an idiot here, but South Dakota tiger meat?
I'm trying to get there too. I don't know if it was tongue in cheek, if it was some sort of figure of speech. Tiger. What in the world? So, like the coyotes, if you really wanted to play the South Dakota partisan thing, you could make fun of coyotes and say some coyote meat. But I don't know.
I mean, South Dakota steaks, ice cream, okay, that seems, but the tiger meat, I'm sort of like, is there some sort of thing that I'm completely unaware of? Or so if anybody's got any intel on South Dakota tiger meat.
All right, hang on. I'm getting there. The Argus leader says, what is tiger meat? Why raw beef became a South Dakota food favorite. The name's a bit misleading, but tiger meat isn't made with tiger. It's just ground beef raw. Similar to steak tartare, which originated in Russia. We will give you a tiger meat.
So whiskey. Wow. All right. So we'll see if somebody else has got an answer. We got about a minute left, and Steve's going to do us a favor here and pick up the phone and see if somebody's got an answer on this tiger. I'd never heard of tiger meat as just being raw.
Like, what the heck? So yeah, no, thank you for calling. If we wouldn't have had Google at our fingertips, we would have needed you. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right. Last question for you, Steve.
Yeah, I love it.
Also, Tom Tucker's walking in studio, so we're going to ask Tom Tucker as well. What's the final score of the game on Sunday? Steve Hallstrom, you go first. Yeah,
sorry, I had my mic on. Sorry about that. Got a rookie on the board. What can I tell you?
Great.
No, it's just a guy that said raw tiger meat is raw ground beef, like steak tartare. And then he said, "Go Bison," then hung up. So
final score:
NDSU 24, Jacks 23.
Wow. And so you're taking the under.
What is the under?
47 and a half. Over under is 47
God,
and a half.
Just barely. I didn't know that, but that's a great sports mind right there, I guess, telling you 24, 23. Right on the line where they put, look, South Dakota State, probably it's their year. They got maybe a little better team. They're a little healthier. I just think there's some magic. And I don't know. I'm betting with my heart here. I'm not actually betting, but I'm just picking with my heart.
I understand. Tom Tucker, final.
As well. My heart is leading as well. And your score, Steve, it was very close to what I already had in mind. Bison 24-21.
Yeah, I was going to say something around the same thing. 24-21. Every time you think it's going to be a low scoring game, especially if you look at those past semi games with Ohio State and Georgia and TCU and Michigan, which, by the way, the national title game Monday night is going to be great too. But I was going to say 24-21 as well, just to be different. I'll say 27-24, but it's going to be close, and it's going to be a dogfight. Oh,
and
the Bison.
You're going Bison as well.
Yeah.
Bunch of homers.
I mean, you know what?
Hey,
you kind of have to be, right?
Darn right.
It's going to take their best game, and I think you got to watch Cam Miller. The weight of the world is on Cam Miller's shoulders. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here Monday at 4.
Showing a very tight race.